Hi, my name is Ben Armstrong.
Hi, this is David Cox.
My name is Thomas Maurer.
Hi, I'm Donna Sarkar.
Hi, my name is Lana Montgomery.
Hi, I'm Seth Juarez.
Hi, I'm Oren Thomas.
I'm Jess Dodson.
Hi, I'm Rocky Heckman.
Hi, I'm Sonia Cuff.
Hi, I'm Troy Hunt.
Hello, this is Wally Mead.
My name is Reed Purvis.
Hi, I'm Lars Klint.
Hi, my name is Alan Birchall.
Hi, I'm Adam Fowler.
Hi, I'm Scott Guthrie, and you're listening to the Need to Know podcast.
All the latest Microsoft Cloud news, as well as industry guest deep dive conversations. It's a Need to Know podcast. All thanks to the CIA Ops patron community. The Need to Know podcast. Catch us on Twitter and Facebook, N2K Podcast, and online at ciaops.podbean.com.
Welcome to the Need to Know podcast. My name is Robert Crane, and you join me for episode 288. This will be an Ignite 2022 special update episode. So again, thanks for all the feedback to those people who've reached out. Really appreciate that. Please do take the time to let me know if I'm covering the topics you're looking for. If there's anything else that you can suggest, by all means, please go and let me know via the different mediums, email director@ciaops.com or on the Twitter @directorcia. Now, this episode will also have a companion YouTube video, so you'll find that on my channel, youtube.com/user/director CIAOps. Now, because we've got all these updates coming, we're not going to have an editorial today. There's just going to be lots and lots of news coming out of Ignite. But to kick things off, I will say that I finally got 22H2 on my Windows 11 machine. Took a fair while to actually go and install, did a number of reboots and came back. Haven't noticed a lot of difference just yet. It does seem a little bit quicker, I must admit, but everything works as expected, but I only just completed that today, so we'll see how that continues to work. If you are waiting on 22H2, apparently Microsoft is opening up or speeding up the rollout. So again, go in there, be a seeker, do a search for updates, and you may find that you are lucky enough to get that if you haven't got it already. Now, even before Ignite, Microsoft had a devices event, and I've got a listing here of the new devices. Now, the one that really interests me is the new Surface Pro 9. Again, not revolutionary, more evolutionary around the Surface Pro line, something that I really like, have used. I've got many versions of Surface Pro back to, I think, version 3. I've still got one floating around. I had 4, 7, 8, and may even look at this 9 as well down the track. So again, there's an article there that you can go in and have a look at, all the details there. There's also a Surface Laptop 5 as well, and a lot of these products you can go in and pre-order today if you want to from your local Microsoft store. There's also a Surface Studio 2 Plus. Now, again, looks really nice, looks very much like, I suppose, a Mac would. Nice little folding screen there, but at the end of the day, super expensive. So again, just keep your eye on that. So again, I'll put the link in the show notes so you can go in. There's a couple of other things that we'll talk about here a bit further down. There are some additional accessories that have been made available. The interesting one here that I saw was this Microsoft Presenter Plus. Certified with Teams and allows you to do presentations remotely with, a little remote control thing. So not quite sure what that is, how well that'll work. And also an audio dock as well, so basically remote speakers as well. So again, a worthwhile article to go and have a look if you're interested in the Microsoft device range. For me, probably going to look at a Surface Pro 9 towards the end of the year just to upgrade from a machine that I'm using at the moment. Now, again, as I mentioned, Ignite was the big news from the previous week. It ran over 2 days there, and lots and lots of content. Most of it now is already up there for you to go and review on demand. Microsoft is also pushing it into the YouTube channel as well. So again, if you do want to consume that content, I always prefer to do it via video because you can speed up through the sessions much quicker. And if something doesn't interest you, you can put it on the back burner and come back to it. But you can go to ignite.microsoft.com and view a recording of all the sessions. And there still are sessions that are going up to YouTube channel as well. So there's a number of different options there for you to consume those videos. as I mentioned before, my general advice, the way I'm still working through a lot of this content, is to look at the keynotes first and then the major topics that interest me and then work from there. So again, I haven't got through all of it, but what I'll show you here is the stuff that's really grabbed me initially, and if I find anything else down the track, I will add that to the next episode. Now, the starting point I would suggest if you are interested in the content from Ignite is to look at this book of news. So Microsoft has a site that it makes available. It lists all the announcements for all its products in one place. So there's one website here. It's ginormous, but it is very handy if you're able to go in and filter out and have a look at particular topics. So if you are looking to, look through the content, get an idea of what's changed, always look for the book of news. I'll link all of this in the show notes so you can go and have a look for yourself, but very, very extensive. Now, probably the first thing that grabbed my attention was this link up or hook up between Microsoft and Meta, so the renamed Facebook, around these sort of avatars in Teams, this concept of the metaverse. Still very popular, a bit of a surprise apparently that Satya Nadella turned up with Mark Zuckerberg to do a presentation just before Ignite. I think it was a Facebook event. So we've got an article here called Microsoft and Meta Partner to Deliver Immersive Experience for the Future of Work and Play. Still, a lot of discussion, a lot of hesitancy or cynicism perhaps around the concept of avatars and that and the metaverse, the commercial reality of it is. But they certainly seem to be ploughing ahead with that. So again, go in, have a look, have a read, keep that on the radar. There are some initial things coming, but still a little ways down the track. But I have seen them running in preview, so I do know they are not far away. So you'll be able to, for example, have an avatar rather than a camera on and use that when you're in Teams meetings. So we'll be interested to see how that works and in the business context. I think it will, but it's not going to obviously be something immediate. But keep your eye on that one. The next one I've got here is some announcements for the file experiences in Microsoft 365. So this is largely around, the OneDrive, the SharePoint, how files are accessed and used within the Microsoft 365 environment. We've got some changes around the homepage for OneDrive. You've got a much easier to filter interface. We've also got some information on Project Nucleus, which is the offline mode for OneDrive, again, and the ability to sync. So Nucleus, to an extent, may or may not replace the existing sync engine. It's going to be more powerful and allow you to take the whole site apparently offline and synchronize back for you when the internet becomes available, but we'll have to wait and see. But that seems to be well on its way and advancing along nicely. There are some enhanced views for OneDrive. There is the ability to favorite your own files in OneDrive. We've got the OneDrive app now appearing in Teams. We've also got some admin stuff around the OneDrive sync health dashboard and some better integration with the standard file explorer. Now that's what really interested me in this article. So if I scroll right down the bottom here to have a look at it, basically what it is that we're going to see that in Windows 11 that the syncing capability will be surfaced in File Explorer. So you'll be able to see, rather than relying on the app in the bottom right-hand corner of your desktop to see what's syncing, what's not syncing. I think it's also going to allow you to sort of map drives to SharePoint Online and Teams and the files in Teams and so on easier. So again, keep an eye out for that one. So again, an enhanced file experience with OneDrive for Business. Now, probably the thing that grabbed me the most and is probably the most relevant for the IT pro out there is the whole thing that's happening around InTune. Now, the first thing to kick this off is that Microsoft has now given us a formal announcement that InTune will be called InTune forever and a day. So there has been some confusion around, is it Microsoft Endpoint Manager? Is it Endpoint Security? Is it On-Prem Configuration Manager? Is it InTune? But Microsoft has a post here that basically sets out that the product will be called InTune. It's now the name of the whole family of items within that. Interestingly, that has garnered a little bit of I suppose, harsh criticism from Microsoft from moving backwards and forwards with naming, but at the end of the day, it's just a name. They already own it. It's already got brand recognition. Probably easier to go with that than something which is a bit of a mouthful like Microsoft Endpoint Manager. But I have got the link in there if you do want to go in and read, Microsoft's approach or renaming approach. But the idea is InTune is going to be the main name of the overarching service going forward. Now, once you get past that and actually get into some of the changes and enhancements that they have made, the biggest one is this concept of an InTune Premium license. Now, we're not fully aware of how this is going to fit in, but it would seem that this premium license is going to be an add-on to all existing InTune licenses. So if you do have InTune, you will be able to purchase this premium offering. There is a bit of conjecture as whether these premium offerings will be available with E3 and E5 going forward. But it would seem to, you put your money on the fact that it's probably going to be a premium add-on for all of them. Now, this premium add-on adds some really, really interesting features. It's going to add improved remote help, right? So using the inbuilt Windows Quick Assist. It's also going to have this tunnel for mobile application management. So Microsoft's thinking on that is that a lot of devices, thanks to work from home, now are actually personal devices that aren't enrolled and don't have the same sort of security. So using this tunneling concept, you'll be able to better protect the applications that are on those BYOD devices. Now, the other one here is the endpoint privilege management. So if you know what privilege identity management is, PIM, it's an escalation capability. So you can escalate your rights on demand. The concept with this new InTune endpoint privilege management is that if a user, for example, needs to escalate to local admin to install an application on their desktop, they'll be able to do that via a policy that is set by the administrator in the back end. So that policy can, auto allow and log. It will, make the user put in a justification before they're given auto elevation privileges, or they'll be required to wait for an administrator to approve that request to auto elevate. So very, very interesting when and how this comes through. I think it looks very slick. The word is that InTune, the premium license here, will be available in March 2023, so about 6 months wait for that to come out. We also get some advanced endpoint analytics in there as well. We get also some remote help for Android devices. Not quite sure if iOS is on its way as well. Shouldn't be too far away, but like I said, the real exciting thing that I saw was this privileged endpoint privilege management to allow this auto escalation or policy escalation for users when they need it on demand. So again, sort of a device version of PIM. So again, the article will be in there for you to go and have a read through, have a look at, all the items there. Okay, so the idea is that, like I said, there will be an InTune Premium license, and it would seem that it's going to be an add-on for all versions that currently include InTune. Now, if you want to see this better in action rather than reading about the blog post, I'd suggest you go and have a look at this session from Ignite. It's called Strengthen Security and Cut Costs with an Endpoint Management You Can Count On. I've put a link in the show notes so you can click on it. If you're looking for the number, it's BRK54, and it talks at a relatively high level, but it does go through some demos of this new InTune Premium license. So I would encourage you to have a look at that if you want to look at some specifics. There's also a video here from Petri with an interview with Steve Dispenser from Microsoft talking about all these new features and capabilities. So again, there's some extra content there if you do want to go into some more detail there. Again, link will be in the show notes. Now, another really interesting thing that I came across in a session was the concept of a cloud local administrator password management lapse. Okay, so this will allow the management of local admin passwords on devices, on Windows devices. So if you do have local administrators on those devices, you can manage their passwords, rotate them, change them, set them via policy. So again, that is coming, in the future. They didn't say when, they didn't say where, they didn't say if there would be an additional cost for that. It's going to be handy for a hell of a lot of people, I would suggest. Now, that was detailed in a session here called Security Best Practices for Managing Across Platforms with Endpoint Manager. That is OD36, and again, the link will be in the show notes for you to go in and review. Again, encourage you to look at that whole session. The good thing with these recorded sessions, as I noted, is you can run them at double speed, get through them much quicker. Now, we've also got some information here for Microsoft 365 admins. Again, a relatively involved blog post here, so some improvements around things like the adoption score, the ability to have improved migration across tenants with OneDrive for Business, improved health monitoring. Again, also one of the big improvements I saw was an enhancement to the Microsoft 365 admin mobile app. If you haven't looked at that, do a search in your local store for the Microsoft 365 admin app. That has been enhanced and has additional features in there today. There's also some information here for CSP providers around SMB. They talk about Lighthouse and also this granular delegated admin privileges. I've got a video, or I've got a session here that I'll speak about shortly that was sort of targeted to this, so hang on for that. But again, have a look at this article. It has a little bit about SMB in there, but mainly around some enhancements to the IT admin experience in Microsoft 365. Now, moving off sort of the Intune and the admin side of things momentarily here, Microsoft also announced that there's going to be a new Microsoft 365 app, and really this is, a unified app, I suppose, that will provide easy access to Word, Excel, PowerPoint, OneDrive, and so on. If you have a look at your tenant, the opening page of office.microsoft.com, you'll see there's probably a little banner there saying that the app is coming, so have a look at that. It's nothing major, but it's going to be this central location as an app for people to go and do things, view recent files, suggestions, those sort of things. So for the end user, I think it's going to be a real benefit, but that's just going to happen in the background, and it's going to centralize a location for navigation for most of these services. Now, one of the technologies that I'm really keen on is Stream, so that's the video capability inside Microsoft 365. Again, great couple of sessions here, information in a blog post around what's possible now. So we've got new items with playbacks, transcriptions, enhanced recordings. We've got the fact that all of the videos now are going into OneDrive and SharePoint to make it much easier to have the indexing running, the analytics, all that sort of stuff. So Stream has really, enhanced and improved recently. If you haven't had a look at it, then go in and have a play with it. It really has lifted its game, I would suggest, and works really well as a corporate video creation and management tool. So again, lots and lots of enhancements here. There's also an updated app for iOS and Android, so if you are using it on your mobile, go and grab that and have a look at that. It's infusing, as they say, the AI, the intelligent search. We've got auto-generating chapters. All of that sort of stuff is now beginning to roll in, plus enhanced admin at the back end there. So go in, have a look at the enhancements that have been made to Stream recently. Now, if you use Windows 365, so this is the RDS style, the cloud version of RDS, they now have the public preview of the dedicated apps. You'll be able to download the app from the store, and you'll be able to access any Windows 365 virtual desktops from that. You'll make management, you'll make usage, interfacing to a local desktop much, much easier. Give you more options in there around doing things like resetting, and also, restoring states, renaming, troubleshooting, all of that sort of stuff. So there's an article in here that will show you how to go and get access to that preview if you do want access to your Windows 365 desktops. Another interesting thing that I noticed is the old Windows 365 is certainly top of mind. It's getting a lot of airplay as well. So if you haven't had a look at it, certainly encourage you to go and have a play, have a look with Windows 365 and what it has to offer. Now, another item here, which again is interesting. Microsoft, from what I saw at Ignite, there was a lot around, design, creation, content creators, that sort of thing, which is very interesting to me because Microsoft already has a large range of tools in that area as well. So it's got things like Sway, it's got PowerPoint, it's got those there, but it has now, it's now looking at the Loop app. So the Loop app is this online, embedded collaboration between various items in Microsoft 365, so within your email, within your Word, Excel, OneNote, so on. Now, the application, the actual Loop application that you can use on your desktop as a dedicated app is now available for pre-release, so you can go in and register your interest. They'll put you on the waiting list, and again, you'll find that at loop.microsoft.com/learn. Again, the link will be in the show notes, so go in there, sign up for that if you're keen to get early access to a dedicated Loop app on your desktop. Now, again, sticking with the designer thing, Microsoft has got its own designer now called Microsoft Designer. So, again, this sort of maybe comes from the publisher background, perhaps. It's a web-based designer for, all sorts of graphics, cards, text, documents, whatever you can think. I think it's a bit like the designers that we see out there already from other third parties. So again, you can go in and sign up for the wait list to join that, put your email address in. If you need to do, occasional design things, and Adobe perhaps is a bit expensive, this seems to be the option. It's also got this concept of AI generated images. So you can go in and say, I want a picture of a koala playing cricket on the beach, and it will generate the graphic for you, and you can make, slight modifications to that from there. So again, Microsoft Designer, go in and have a look at that. If you want to go to the URL designer.microsoft.com to have a look at that. Now, even further in the designer item is create.microsoft.com. So again, yet another creation tool here, and it says design unique and beautiful content, social posts, videos, presentations, flyers, and more. So once again, go in. You can sign up for that now. You can start building out designs here. Again, think up very classy websites quickly and easily that you can bring into your application. So if you're a designer, I think you've done really well out of the Microsoft Ignite 2022. So with all of that now behind us, let us have a look at things like enhanced security and management in SharePoint, OneDrive, and Teams. Again, lots and lots of ideas there. We've got restricted access control for SharePoint sites in public preview, so we can now restrict who has access to our SharePoint sites quickly and easily rather than having to go through low-level rights within SharePoint. We can do this at a much higher level. We can also integrate with conditional access policy, or we will be able to integrate with conditional access policies to be able to do that. We've got user-defined permission support for Office files. We've got protected PDF support as well in private preview or public preview. Default sensitivity labels for document libraries, again in public preview. That's pretty handy because it allows documents to have a sensitivity label applied to them to allow them to be protected quickly and easily via policy. So I think that'll be pretty big when it does come out. We've also got the anti-malware scan on file download is now available, generally available. We can dig into any malware that's found or somehow managed to get onto SharePoint Online or OneDrive for Business. You can dig into that using some admin tools to see what the malware was. We've got information barriers now included, migration enhancements as I mentioned, so they have lifted their game there. Much more information and reporting is available. We've also got estimated time to migrate. We've got improvements to the SharePoint migration tool from Microsoft. So again, go in and have a look at all of those details there. Long blog post for you to go in and take advantage of. Some of the stuff, again, will take a little while to roll out. But again, I think there's lots and lots of positive stuff there around what's happening to the file system, SharePoint, OneDrive there in Microsoft 365. Now, I did mention that SMB Lighthouse and tools out there for resellers. The session is called Empower Partners and SMB Customers to Achieve More with Microsoft 365. The Ignite session number is OD13, is on YouTube as well as in the Ignite site from Microsoft. A worthwhile watch if you want to go in and understand more about things like Lighthouse and so on. So recommend that you go in and have a look at that. Again, it's about 20 odd minutes to view all of the information in there. Again, the link will be in the show notes. Now, one of the other ones that I really liked that I can recommend, it's a security one, maybe not particularly directly relevant, but it's stories from the Dart team at Microsoft. So they're the security response team that customers call on when there's been a breach, and they want Microsoft's assistance in sorting that out. I think this is a really worthwhile session if you are keen on understanding, some of the threats that are out there, how Microsoft's dealt with them, the forensic tools that they use, the approaches that they take. So again, that's called Stories from Dart, Taking the Wear Out of Ransomware, and the session number for that is BRK212H. All right, so very worthwhile watch, I would suggest. Now, one of the other ones that's really interested me is this blog post here called What's New with XDR at Microsoft. I haven't gone through it completely, but what I am very interested to dig into is this concept that Microsoft's talking about of automatic attack disruption that's in Microsoft Defender. Now, it's going to be in public preview. Now, my understanding is that aimed at ransomware typically. All right, so it's going to come in and disrupt the threat or disrupt the actions of ransomware. Not quite 100% sure as to what it is, how they do it, but I'll put the article in here because I think it's worthwhile having a look at. It seems to be a great technology that will be coming shortly. All right, so we've got also something around attack insights. We've got improved investigation with Microsoft 365 Defender. What else have we got here? So again, lots more information in the security side here. I haven't looked at this, like I said, in detail. I'll do that for the next episode. But again, that article is called What's New in XDR at Microsoft Ignite. And the one that I'm keen to really understand is automatic attack disruption in Defender 365, which is coming along for us. So a quick, advertisement here is Microsoft has also announced a 50% discount on Microsoft Defender for Endpoint from the 1st of November for P1 and P2 licenses. I'll put a link in the show notes so you can go in and have a look at that. It runs from the 1st of November until the 30th of June, I think, if I'm not mistaken, and allow you to get P1 and P2 licenses at a 50% discount. Now, remember to read the terms and conditions. So if you do have Defender for Business, then obviously you're not going to be eligible for this, but I believe that you could add on additional licenses and get that discount. So again, read the T's and C's in that, but remember that there is this 50% discount Microsoft is offering. Now, we have been going for a while, and I do want to round it off, but we have to round off with some announcements around the Power Platform. So the Power Platform, again, was a big topic in the Ignite 2022, and it continues to grow. This article here I've got is the future of low-code governance with managed environment. So a managed environment allows the administrator much more control and analytics over a Power Platform environment. So the idea would be you can look at how many flows have run, what cost it is, how many users are taking advantage of it, the information in there, and so on. So you get much greater visibility on the Power Platform area that you're working with or that you've created for a group of users. So you put in create what's called managed environments, and it's going to make much easier to move things obviously from testing to production and so on. So I'd really recommend having a look at that. I think this is going to be a big thing, even in SMB, for the ability to manage the costs when it comes to the Power Platform, because most of the licensing with Power Platform is rather confusing. So I would suggest that this is a good step forward, worthwhile having a look at. You can basically enable that immediately in your environment if you want to go in and have a play with that. So the other thing, as we end off, as always, I'll let you know that there is a shared channel that I've created that you're more than welcome to join. I'll send the link, will be in the show notes to show you what you need to do, how you need to get access to that. I put all sorts of announcements and interesting links in there. There are conversations and so on happening in there. Don't forget that if you want to be on top of this on a daily basis, the Microsoft Cloud, then I'd recommend you look at joining the CIA Ops Patron community. You'll find that at ciaopspatron.com. All of the information, all of the links, all of the best that I find from Ignite 2022 will be posted in there for members to take advantage of, have discussions around. We've also got scripts and so on in there. So if you do manage the Microsoft Cloud, I'd really recommend that has a lot of resources of value to you. So go and have a look at it, www.ciapspatron.com. You can reach out to me on Twitter at DirectorCI. Love to hear from you. Love to hear any feedback you've got. What's good, what's bad, what can be done to improve it. And again, how we're doing. Always good to hear from people out there. You can send me an email directly, director@ciaops.com, if you want to do that as well. So once again, take the opportunity to thank you for listening in to this episode, and we'll be back with a future episode, probably with more updates from Ignite 2022 when I've worked through all the material that Microsoft did release recently. So until then, thanks again for listening, and catch you in the next episode.
You have been listening to the Need to Know podcast from CIA Ops. For training on using technologies like SharePoint Online or Microsoft 365, visit www.ciaopsacademy.com. By purchasing from the selections available, you'll be directly supporting this podcast. To provide feedback on this episode, visit www.ciaops.com/contact.